Number one is boiling point. Now, first point, alcohols have higher boiling point as they form hydrogen bond. As they form hydrogen bond. So first thing is that alcohols, they have higher or lower boiling point, and why? So they have generally higher boiling point. Why? Because they can form hydrogen bond. How can they form hydrogen bond? So when we have alcohol like this, ROH, the lone pair of oxygens are here, and you have another ROH like this. The hydrogen atoms of both the alcohol will be having a delta positive charge because it is connected with more electronegative oxygen atoms. Both the hydrogen will be having delta positive charge, and there will be a hydrogen bonding between the oxygen and hydrogen of the two molecules. Okay, that is why it is going to have higher boiling point. Now, right, next point. Hopefully, all of these points are self-explanatory. It does not need too much explanation. But still, if you need any explanation, just let me know. Hai na? You can stop me at any moment. Boiling point of alcohols is greater than ethers, hydrocarbon, haloalkane, aldehyde, and ketones. Aldehyde and ketones. Next. Why? Because none of these molecules can form hydrogen bond, but only alcohol. Hai na? Ethers, hydrocarbons, that means alkane, alkyne, and alkene and alkyne, haloalkanes, aldehyde, ketones. None of these can form hydrogen bond. Alcohol can form. That's why it is going to have higher boiling point. Next, boiling point of alcohols increases with increase in carbon atoms due to increase in molar mass. So as the molar mass increases, the van der Waals forces of attraction also increases, and hence the boiling point of alcohol increases. So see, for example, if I have CH3OH, this CH3OH will have lower boiling point than ethanol. Ethanol will be having lower boiling point than propanol. Propanol will be having lower boiling point than butanol, and then pentanol, and so on. Next point, boiling point of alcohols decreases with increase in branching. Decreases with increase in branching due to decrease in surface area. See, so if I have, let's suppose, 4 carbon atoms and OH, this can be written as 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms, and OH will be here. This can also be written as 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms like this. OH is in this carbon atom, or you can also write it like this. So the molecular formula of all of these compounds are same, but the branching is increasing. So when the branching increases, so see here, when it is a straight chain, it is a pretty longer molecule. Then it becomes spherical as we go. As we increase the branching, the molecule, it becomes more and more spherical. That is why the polarity of the molecule decreases, because the delta, for example, if here we have delta negative and delta positive, the mu of dipole moment of this particular molecule will be larger because the distance is larger. So as the surface area decreases, the polarity of the molecule also decreases, and hence the boiling point decreases. So when we have straight chain, it will be having higher boiling point followed by one branch, and here also we have more branches, and here we have the most number of branches. Now, all of you understood these points? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sufyan, Taha, makes sense, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Raise your hand if you're done writing. Then we will see some questions. Just waiting for Mariam Batul. See. Now, whenever you get a question, how you have to deal with the question, please see. The first thing that we are going to do is to determine what type of molecule has been given and what type of force of attraction is present in those molecules. That's the first thing we have to do. So you will classify the molecule on the basis of the molecule which have hydrogen bond, जो कि हम लोगों ने सिर्फ alcohol ही पढ़ा है अभी तक. Right now we only know of one molecule that can have hydrogen bond, that is alcohols. Right. Then we have to see whether it is polar. And obviously, polar may you will have two categories: weakly polar and strongly polar. So weakly polar, may we are going to have ether. Ether are not very much polar, and at last we are going to have the non-polars. The force of attraction is greatest or the largest in hydrogen bonded molecule, then polar, and then non-polar. Now, if you get the answer using this particular criteria, that which is going to have higher force of attraction, then fine. But if you see there are two elements which are hydrogen bonded, or there are two molecules which are hydrogen bonded, then you are going to see first of all that the boiling point, it is directly proportional to number of carbon atoms. If there are two molecules which are having hydrogen bonded, then the molecule having higher number of carbon atom will have higher number of carbon atoms. Secondly, if the number of carbon atom is also same, then the boiling point is going to be directly proportional to the molar mass. Third, if the molar mass is also same, then you are going to look at the branching. This inversely proportional to branching, as we have seen just now. Amna, you can leave some space. We have done this much. इतना हम लोगों ने किया. You can leave some space and start writing from here. Please keep on writing and then write a question. Arrange the following in increasing order of boiling point. Pentanol, pentene 1 ol, N-butane, pentanol, then we have ethoxyethane. Are you guys done with this 1, 2, 3? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Now let us see. Pentane 1 all. That means you are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms, and the first carbon atom is having OH. N-butane is just going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. Pentanol is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms, and this one is CHO. Ethoxyethane is 2 carbon atom bonded to oxygen, and then again 2 carbon atoms. Let me know if you want me to explain any one of these structures. How guys, tell me. No, right? All of these are self-explanatory, right? You can write these structures. Fine. Now you have to see which of the following is hydrogen bonded, non-polar, polar, and so on. Right? So first of all, pentanol. Obviously, this is hydrogen bonded molecule. N-butane is non-polar. Pentanol is obviously polar because here we are having. So by the way, ये hydrogen bonded नहीं होगी. यहाँ पे maybe you are thinking it is basically like this: T double bond O, and then you are having H. Oxygen is not directly bonded with hydrogen atom. That is why it is not going to be hydrogen bonded. It will be polar rather. Ether, it is what it is, weakly polar. This is strongly polar. This is weak polar. ठीक है. Now boiling point देखिए. So अच्छा, by the way, you can see that by boiling point सबसे ज्यादा किसका होगा? Hydrogen bonded वाले का. तो hydrogen A is be having the highest boiling point, followed by the polar one, that is C, followed by the weakly polar, that is D, and then followed by the N-butane, that is B. Does it make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
What about others?
Yes.
Mariam?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Raise your hand once you're done. So next सवाल लिखिएगा. Same. Arrange the following. First A is pentanol. B is butanol. C is 2-butanol. D is ethanol. E is propanol. D, E, F, methanol. Fine. Now, as you can see, all of these are alcohols. That means you do not need to compare the force of attraction, because if you are going to compare the force of attraction, all of these will be hydrogen bonded. Does it make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Now we can compare the number of carbon atoms. So here we are pentane all 5 carbons. Let me see. This is how we are going to solve it. This is how your thought process should: 5 carbon. This is going to be 4 carbons. This is also going to be 4 carbons. This is going to be 2 carbons. This is going to be 3 carbons, and this is going to be 1 carbon. Now, if I compare all of these, then after the force of production, what we have to see? We have to see the number of carbon atoms. If the number of carbon atoms is higher, that will be having higher boiling point. So here we have a clear winner that A is going to be the one which is having highest boiling point. Now, between B and C, we have to compare. So next thing what we can see is that the molar mass. But molar mass is also going to be same because you have the same number of carbon atoms in it. And oxygen hydrogens are the same. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms, and then you're going to have OH like this. The 2-butanol structure is 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms, and OH is here. So as you can see, the branching has increased in the C case. So between B and C, if I have to compare, then B will be having higher boiling point because it is a straight chain. C will be having lower boiling point because it is branched. Then after that, we have the third carbon atom. Sorry. Then we have the E structure that is with 3 carbon atoms. The next is E. Then we have D, and then we have F. Make sense? Yes or no, please tell me.
Yes.
Right? What about the suppose you understood the thought process? Yes or no, please tell me.
Yes, sir.
See, A is the winner because of 5 carbon atoms. Between B and C, we have decided on the basis of branching, and this is on the basis of number of carbon atoms. Okay? Copy this down. Waiting for Amna and Taha. Moving on. The next physical property that we have to discuss is solubility. Please write alcohols and phenols. Both are soluble in water. Both are soluble in water due to formation of hydrogen bond. Okay, I hope you can see. This type of hydrogen bonding will be present between alcohol and water molecules. Ab yahan pe very important part. Please don't write if you're writing. Try to listen. In alcohol, we have the two parts, R and then we have OH. Now, the OH part, it is favorable for the solubility, right? Because it is forming the hydrogen bond, favorable for solubility. Favorable for solubility. That means why is alcohol soluble? Because of the OH group. But the R group that we are having here, this R group, it is not favorable for solubility. It is rather a hydrophobic part. The alkyl group, the carbon and hydrogen, these are non-polar parts. The non-polar part, it is not going to be dissolved inside water because water is polar and light dissolves light. This R part, it is not favorable for solubility. Not favorable for solubility. That means if the R part is going to increase, the not favorable part for solubility is going to increase and the solubility is डिक्रीजिंग, है ना। तो नॉट फेवरेबल मतलब सॉलिबिलिटी के लिए अच्छा नहीं है ये, फाइन। तो यू विल राइट नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, solubility of alcohols decreases with increase in number of carbon atoms. Number of carbon atoms. As larger alkyl groups prevent the formation of hydrogen bond. So if we are going to compare the solubility of methanol, it will be highest, followed by ethanol, followed by propanol, butanol, and so on. Does it make sense? Yes or no? All of you guys, Mariam, Sufyan, Taha. Raise your hand if you're done writing. Waiting for Amna and Taha. Just waiting for Amna. Right next, in isomeric alcohols, in isomeric alcohols, solubility increases with increase in branching. As surface area decreases. What does it mean? See, now, favorable part and not favorable part for the solubility. See, if you have a straight chain, then the favorable part is quite larger, and the favorable part starts getting smaller and smaller as the branching is going to increase. Can you see that? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So, non-favorable part is decreasing. That is why the solubility will increase, and the solubility, this part will be having the higher solubility, then this one, and then this one. Then you can write the last point. Phenols are less soluble than alcohol due to bulky benzene ring. Waiting for Amna and Taha. Just waiting for okay, everyone is done. Okay. So it's all about the physical properties. Right, next part, that is the chemical properties of alcohol. Chemical properties of alcohol. ध्यान से देखिएगा. RCH2O and H. There are two polar bonds यहाँ पे which is going to be easier to break. ठीक है, आराम से देख लीजिए, उसके बाद लिख लीजिएगा. The first polar bond that we are going to have is between the carbon and oxygen. In this, carbon is having delta positive and oxygen is having delta negative. Between oxygen and hydrogen, hydrogen will be having delta positive. So there are there are two bonds which could be broken. The carbon-oxygen bond can be broken, and the oxygen-hydrogen bond can be broken. And depending on what bond is being broken, we are going to have different types of reactions. So, for example, if the CO bond is going to break, let's suppose breaking of CO bond. Breaking of CO or COH bond, I should say. And what else can happen? Breaking of OH bond. Now, depending on what type of bond cleavage is happening, what type of breaking is happening, what type of fission is happening, there will be हम लोग दो किस्म के reactions देखेंगे, है ना? So first of all, we are going to see a reaction that involve the cleavage of OH bond, in which the OH bond is going to be broken. First, you can write a reaction involving cleavage of OH bond. Achha, one more thing is that they can ask like whether alcohol is going to have electrophilic or nucleophilic properties. So it can have both. See, if the OH bond is going to break, that means the carbon, it is getting a new particular bond. So something can attack on this carbon atom, right? So if something can attack on this carbon atom, that means obviously carbon is electrophilic here, as you can see, delta positive. But the oxygen atom of the alcohol, it is having lone pair. And if the attack happens via the oxygen atom like this, that means oxygen is now acting as a nucleophile. So it has both the centers. It has electron rich as well as the electron poor centers in the alcohol. We have both the centers in the alcohol molecule. Okay. Write this down. Raise your hand once you're done. Waiting for Amna and Mariam. Just waiting for Amna. Write the first reaction. reaction with active metals. आप लोग में इलेक्ट्रोकेमिस्ट्री हुआ है ना? जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकंड. देखिए, एक्टिव मेटल्स क्या होते हैं ना? सो एनी मेटल दैट मेटल्स व्हिच कैन लिबरेट H2 गैस इन द प्रेजेंस ऑफ एन एसिड, उसको एक्टिव मेटल कहा जाता है ना? एंड दोज मेटल्स आर बेसिकली व्हाट मेटल्स? दोज मेटल्स आर the wedding elements. The wedding metals, they have negative SRP and they can give H2 gas in the presence of an acid. ठीक है? तो active metals का वो मतलब है. Now, when you have alcohol, that is ROH, alcohol, and if you react this with any one of the active metals, that means the metals which are having the wedding elements. याद है wedding elements आप लोगों को? हाँ गाइस, मरियम, आमना, सुफियान, ताहा, wedding elements कुछ याद है? नहीं याद है, तो भूल गए.
Yes.
याद है? Okay. So when you are having any one of the wedding elements, for example, लेके बारात खाना मजे से आया, lithium, potassium, barium, all of those elements, then it forms alkoxide, metal alkoxide, and it liberates H2 gas. Now, since reaction of alcohol with active metal gives H2, hence we can say that alcohols are acidic in nature. Okay. Now, I'm going to write a certain reactions. लेकिन they can ask you a question, write two reactions which shows the acidic nature of alcohol. Then these are the reaction that you have to write. Okay. So, for example, if you have CH3OH, and if you react this with sodium, then you will get sodium. And what is the valency of sodium? 1. So you will have sodium methoxide and only OCH3. One OCH3, because OCH3 will be having negative charge, sodium will be having positive charge, H2. But if you have the same thing, that is CH3OH, but you have magnesium. Now, alkoxide ion, it has one negative charge. Magnesium in its ionic form will be having two positive charge. So Mg, it will be balanced by OCH3 whole twice. And obviously here you are going to have H2. I'm not balancing the reaction. Similarly, if you have CH3OH plus, let's suppose you have potassium. अब बताइए जरा, potassium and how many OCH3 will be there? How many OCH3 will be there? What is the valency of potassium? बोलो भैया.
1.
1, right? Amna, Mariam and Taha, you guys don't know valencies. Oh, tell me guys. अरे पता है ना aluminium. अब aluminium के लिए बताइए. Aluminium and how many OCH3 will be there? How many OCH3 in order to balance? What will be the charge on aluminium? Mariam. 3. Very good. Plus H2 gas will be liberated. So if they ask you, write down two reaction which shows the acidic nature of alcohol, then you can write one of these reactions or two of any of these reactions. Okay? So you can write alcohols are. You can start writing now. Weak acids. Hence they react with active metals such as sodium, magnesium, aluminium, etc. to liberate H2 gas. Raise your hand if you're done. Everyone is done. Next. Now, since we have seen that alcohols are acidic in nature, we are going to compare the acidic strength of alcohols. ठीक है, ध्यान से लीजिएगा जरा. Now, write next acidic strength of alcohols. See, we have R CH2OH. When it will show the acidic nature, you will get R CH2 O negative and H positive. Okay. Now this is acid and this is the conjugate base of the acid. Conjugate base. Okay. Now, no matter what the acid is, it is always going to give you H positive. Now the stability of conjugate, I mean H positive जितना stable इस acid के लिए, any other acid will be also giving H plus. So H plus वहाँ पे भी उतना ही stable होगा. But the main question is how stable the conjugate base is. How easily the conjugate base, how easily it can leave the H plus and not react with H plus. So if the conjugate base will be stable, then only this negative and positive will not react. If the conjugate base is unstable, then it will quickly react with the positive H positive and it is going to make the undissociated acid. And undissociated acid is not acid. Acid is something that is going to liberate H plus. जो H plus दे ही नहीं रहा हो, it is not going to be acid. That means we can say that acidic strength is going to be directly proportional to stability of conjugate base. And also one more thing, how easily can this oxygen and hydrogen break the bond? If the oxygen and hydrogen, they are highly polar, बहुत ज़्यादा polarity है, they already have high negative and high positive charge, it is easier to separate them and they will gain the, they already have very high negative and positive charge. So if they gain the pure negative and pure positive charge, तो वहाँ भी उतनी problem नहीं होगी. It is also directly proportional to the polarity of OH bond. All of you, Mariam, Amna, Sufyan, and Taha, does this make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
Copy this down. Raise your hand if you're done. And then, first of all, we are going to compare the acidic strength of alcohol in water. Alcohol versus water. Amna, are you there? Amna, are you there? Amna नहीं है. हाँ, raise your hand, Amna, if you're done. See. Now, in alcohol versus water, we have to see what? We have ROH. It will give you RO negative plus H positive. Then we have water, which is HOH. यहाँ पे होगा HO negative plus H positive. ठीक है, अब ध्यान सुनिए जरा. Now we have to compare the stability of which is more stable. RO negative is more stable or HO negative is more stable. So see, RO negative. So this R group is a plus I group, which is going to increase the electron density on the oxygen atom. Oxygen, it is already having negative charge will be further increased, and that is why it will become unstable. Thus we can write RO negative, that means the alkoxide ion. And इसको alkoxide कहा जाता है, this alkoxide. Ion is unstable due to plus I effect of alkyl group. Plus I effect of alkyl group. Next. One more thing is that the OH bond in the alcohol, it is less polar. कैसे less polar? ध्यान सुनिएगा. You have R, O and H. ठीक है? And I am going to compare with H, O and H. ध्यान सुनिएगा please. This oxygen atom, it has tendency to pull electron. लेकिन ये capacity हो ना खींचने की भी. Now it has, let us suppose, tendency to attract 100 electrons. Now this R group, the alkyl group, it has tendency to lose electron, to give electrons. So it is already giving electrons. So oxygen को 80% of electron it is received by the alkyl group. The rest of 20% it is received by H. But in the case of water molecule, you can see that both of these are H. So यहाँ पे 50% is hydrogen से and 50% from this hydrogen will be taken. Now you can see that the polarity of the OH bond is only 20% and the polarity of OH bond in the in alcohol it is 20%, in water it is 50%. So that is why we can say that this bond it is less polar than the bond which is present in water. Can all of you see that? Yes or no? Please tell me. Does this make sense? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Next. Next one, like there are two reasons. पहला reason तो ये है alkyl group. Then also OH bond in alcohol is less polar. In alcohol is less polar due to plus I effect of alkyl group. Hence we can say therefore alcohols are less acidic than water. And this is the reason alcohols do not react with metal hydroxide. ठीक है. So also one more thing you can say that alcohols they cannot show acidic nature in water. Water में आपके पास alcohol जो है वो acidic nature show नहीं करेगा. So what we saw the culprit was the plus I group है ना. If the plus I group is present, the alcohol, and that's the reason alcohol became weak acid. Now we have to compare. The second comparison is between 1 degree versus 2 degree versus 3 degree alcohol. यहाँ पे सुनिएगा. Now we have already seen that acidic strength of alcohol It is inversely proportional to the plus I group. Now, if I have 1 degree, there will be 1 plus I group. 2 degree, there will be 2 plus I group. That is 2 alkyl groups. 3 degree will be having 3 alkyl groups, right? So 1 degree क्या होगा? 1 degree will be basically R CH2OH. 2 degree will be R CHOH, and there will be one more R group here. 3 degree will be R carbon OH, and here also R, and here also R. So here we have only one alkyl group. Here we have 2 alkyl groups. Here we have 3 alkyl groups. And as the number of alkyl groups are increasing, the plus I effect is also going to increase. That is why if I compare the acidic strength, this will be much more acidic than the rest of them. So the basic idea is 1 degree is more acidic than 2 degree, and 3 degree is the least. और 1 degree में भी अगर बात की जाए तो CH3OH will be most acidic. Copy this down. Raise your hand once you are done. This makes sense, right? Sufyan, Amna, Taha, Mariam. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Waiting for Taha. Right, the third one. Alcohol versus phenol. See, once again, alcohol is going to dissociate like this RO negative plus H positive to show the acidic behavior. When we have phenol, the phenol will be having a benzene ring. And it will dissociate like this, oxygen and O negative plus H positive. Now, we also know that the benzene ring, it has alternate single and double bond. So there will be double bond here, single bond and double bond, and then here we will have double bond. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे जो आपके पास resonance का structure आएगा, this particular phenoxide ion, it will be having resonance like this. So the negative charge of the phenoxide ion, it is distributed all over the benzene ring, and that is why this will be more stable, right? अच्छा, by the way, इसको phenoxide बोलते हैं, ठीक है ना? इसको लिख लीजिए, phenoxide. Right? Now this phenoxide, it is stable due to resonance, and this, the alkoxide ion, is unstable. We have seen that. Unstable due to plus I effect. Does this make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me. And so I think we can conclude that phenol is more acidic than alcohol because the conjugate base of phenol, that is phenoxide ion, is stable due to resonance, and the alkoxide ion of alcohol is unstable due to the plus I group of plus I effect of alkyl group. Yes, Amna, Mariam, Sufyan, and Taha, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to type it out. तो आप जरा इसको please copy कर लीजिएगा. Phenol is more acidic than alcohol because phenoxide ion is resonance stabilized, but alkoxide ion is unstable due to plus I effect of alkyl group, right? Also, OH bond in phenol is more polar due to sp2 carbon and resonance effect. Okay, copy this down. Raise your hand once you're done. तो ये जो आखिरी वाला पार्ट है ना, OH bond in phenol is white is more polar. I'll explain that. Raise your hand once you're done. चलिए देखिए, ध्यान सुनिएगा सब कुछ, है ना? See here. Here we have benzene ring. Oxygen and hydrogen. Fine. अच्छा, अब इस कार्बन एटम की अगर हम बात करें, दिस कार्बन एटम इज sp2. Then we have alcohol which is ROH. अच्छा, if I specify RCH2H कर लेते हैं हम, so that you can see it clearly that this carbon atom is sp3. And we know that if I compare the electronegativity, sp2 it is more electronegative than sp3. That means sp2 it is a electron withdrawing group. That means it is minus I. ये minus I show करता है, and sp3 ये plus I show करता है. Now please see what is going to happen here. ध्यान सुनिएगा ना. All of you are listening. Yes or no? Please tell me. Maryam, Amna, Sufyan, and Taha.
Yes, sir.
Same thing. है ना? Oxygen जो है it attracts. It has 100% जो tendency attract करने की यहाँ पे भी है. And here also the oxygen atom it has a tendency to attract 100%. अब ये 100% कहाँ से लेगा? That is going to be the question. Now, if I see the sp2 carbon atom now, oxygen is electronegative. sp2 is also electronegative. sp2 carbon. Both have tendency to attract electron, but obviously oxygen is very electronegative, so it is going to pull the electron density from the carbon atom length. If it is going to pull the electron, but बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं कर पाए, right? For example, let's suppose it can only attract, I don't know what, 40%, 30% type of thing, fine. So say 40%. Now rest of it is going to attract from the 60% hydrogen atom. But if you see the CS2 of the alcohol, the sp3 carbon atom, it has tendency to lose electron. If it has tendency to lose electron to give electron, it is going to give out the 80% of electrons to oxygen atom, और बाकी 20% कहाँ से खींचेगा? From the hydrogen atom. So you can see that the OH bond in the phenol it is more polar as compared to the OH bond in the alcohol. Can you see that? Yes or no? Please tell me, guys.
Yes, sir.
All of you understood this? Yes or no? बोलो भाई.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't need to write this down. अब एक दो कुछ सवाल है. We are going to take some questions. There is a question that we have two compounds. We have two samples. There is a sample A and sample B, A and B. And what we have seen that they both have OH group. They both have OH group, but the difference is A जो है it turns blue litmus red A turns blue litmus red, but B doesn't. but B doesn't. Identify A and B. Now, simple thing, first things first, that if A and B both are having OH, that means A and B can be either alcohol or phenol. है ना? A में मतलब A और B alcohol और phenol के अलावा कुछ और हो ही नहीं सकता है, right? Because OH group association में होता है. Like the functional group OH is present in either alcohol or phenol. Now, next statement saying A turns blue litmus red. That means A, it is acidic in nature. अच्छा, by the way, litmus, it is always going to be litmus water, है ना? ठीक है, तो litmus test के लिए आपको you should have water. And what shows acidic nature in water? It is phenol, but not alcohol. Alcohol does not show acidic nature in water. Alcohol water से ज्यादा acidic नहीं होता है, right? So A is acidic. That means therefore A is phenol. और जो B है, it is not acidic. That means therefore B is alcohol. ठीक है, so if they are going to ask identify A and B, then you can just write A is phenol and B is alcohol. That's it. You don't need to even explain anything. बोर्ड्स के आंसर हम आपको दिखा देंगे बाद में, लाइक व्हेन वी आर रिवाइजिंग. बस जितना पूछा जाता है उतना ही लिखना रहता है. आइडेंटिफाई ए एंड बी. ए इज अल्कोहल, सॉरी ए इज फिनॉल एंड बी इज अल्कोहल. डज इट मेक सेंस? यस और नो, प्लीज टेल मी.
Yes, sir.
नेक्स्ट वी आर गोइंग टू सी एसिडिक नेचर और एसिडिक स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ सब्स्टिट्यूटेड फिनॉल. Waiting for Amna and Sufyan. Now we have already seen that when phenols shows acidic nature, it forms phenoxide ion. The oxygen is having negative charge. So in the benzene ring, if I add anything which can decrease the negative charge, it is going to increase the acidic strength, है ना? तो stability बढ़ाएगा. So basically, we can say 2 points. That electron donating groups, है ना? Basically, most of these are plus M groups. This is going to decrease the acidic strength. Why? Because they will increase the electron density on oxygen atom, making it more unstable. जितना ज़्यादा unstable होगा conjugate base, the acidic strength will be lower. Now, these groups are going to be generally CH3, OR, and NH2. Second is electron withdrawing groups. That is minus M groups. Minus M group, they will increase the acidic strength as they are going to decrease the charge on oxygen atom and making it more stable. और इलेक्ट्रॉन विड्रॉइंग ग्रुप में अभी आपके पास सिर्फ NO2 ही रहेगा. देयर आर फर्स्ट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन, एक तो आपके पास रहेगा इस तरह का. अच्छा, इसलिए हम आपको चलिए बता देते हैं. लाइक OH, here we have 3 positions. The group can be attached on this position, which is known as the ortho position, or it could be attached on this position, which is known as the filling. जिसको पहले complete किया. This is the ortho position. Now, in ortho position, you have to first of all see, check plus M or minus M. then plus I or minus I. Now, next one is the meta position. Give me a second. This is the meta position. Now, in meta position, resonance effect does not work. That is why you have to check only plus I or minus I. Check plus I group है या minus I group. The last one is para position. In this, first of all, you are going to check plus M or minus M, then plus I or minus I. Raise your hand once you're done writing this. All if you're done. ठीक है. एक तो सवाल आपके पास है like this. Y type of question can be asked. Why is O-nitrophenol or orthonitrophenol, O-nitrophenol, more acidic than orthomethoxyphenol or O-methoxyphenol? So here, benzene ring, OH. Here you have NO2. OH and OCH3, and methoxy is OCH3. So we know that this particular NO2 group is minus M group, and which is going to stabilize the phenoxide ion, and that is why it has higher acidic strength, right? और OCH3 क्या है? It is a plus M group because यहाँ पे oxygen atom के पास क्या lone pair which is going to do resonance and plus M type of resonance in the benzene ring. Just give me a second, my writing pad is not working. So you can write NO2 is minus M group, which stabilizes the phenoxide ion. अब यहाँ पे OCH3 is plus M group, which destabilizes the phenoxide ion. Therefore, you can write therefore O nitrophenol is more acidic than O methoxyphenol. हो जाएगा ये सुनो पिछल में गई. Raise your hand once you're done. Waiting for Sufyan. Arrange the following.
Or can you scroll up?
Yeah, sure. More. काफी है इतना.
नहीं सर हो गया.
Compare acid extent.
You can scroll down.
Yeah. You have certain molecules. I'm writing the names of them. Okay, you can write it with me. You have to compare propanol, then 2, 4, 6, trinitrophenol, then we have trinitrophenol, then we have 3, 5, dinitrophenol, then we have phenol, and last one is 4-methyl phenol. हम आपको बेसिक आइडिया बता देते हैं, लाइक हाउ टू डू दिस टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चन. राइट, लेट मी राइट द नेम्स हियर. ए बी सी डी कर देते हैं इनको. दिस इज ए. 2,4,6 trinitrophenol is B, 3-nitrophenol is C, and this is D. Phenol is E, and 4-methyl phenol is F. ठीक है. In these type of question, first of all, you are going to see whether it is alcohol or phenol. Alcohol or phenol. तो बताइए अल्कोहल और फिनॉल में कौन जीतेगा? आमना, सुफियान, मरियम, ताहा, जल्दी बताओ.
Phenol.
Phenol will be having more acidic nature. In phenol, then you have to see, you can have -M, then -I, then 0 का मतलब nothing is added, then +M, और either +I और उसके बाद प्लस. Higher the plus character, that means उतना ज्यादा कम acidic होगा. So -M will be the most acidic, followed by -I, उसके बाद 0 आएगा, then you will have plus like this. This will be the mode of comparison. Does it make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me, guys. बोलो भैया.
Yes.
In phenol,
Yes
it will
sir.
be what? In phenols. ठीक है. Now let me write the molecules. The A molecule propanol is what? 1, 2, 3 carbon atoms, and then you are going to have OH. Then you are going to have trinitrophenol, which is going to be benzene ring. OH, 2, 4, 6. All of this is NO2, NO2, NO2. ठीक है. Then we are going to have trinitrophenol, in which we'll have obviously the benzene ring, OH, and I can say trinitrophenol. I can add the nitrophenol NO2 here. Then we have 3, 5 nitrophenol. So almost same structure like this. There will be just one more nitro group in the 5th position, which is here, you can say. Then you just have phenol. After that, you are going to have methyl phenol. 4-methyl phenol is para-methyl phenol. No? So methyl group will be here. चलिए. Now this is alcohol. इसको तो देखने की जरूरत है नहीं, सबसे आखिर में आ जाएगा. I hope you can see that. Right? Yes or no? Alcohol. अब now we are going to have phenol यहाँ पे, and in this phenol we are seeing -M groups. So minus m groups की अगर हम बात करें, how many minus m groups? There are 3 minus m groups, right? Now here what do we have? We have minus m group या कुछ और है यहाँ पे, देखिए जरा बताइए. In the 3 nitrophenol we have NO2. Here also we had NO2, but in the 2,4,6 trinitrophenol the NO2 was present in ortho and para position. That is why we took the minus m capacity. But here it does not have minus m group. Here we will say it is only having minus I group. So here you have minus I group. In 3,5 again here in the meta position you are going to have 2 minus I groups, and then in the phenol there is nothing, so 0, and at last we are going to have plus m group, that is CH3. Does this make sense? Yes or no? Please tell me.
Yes, sir.
What about others? All of you understood regarding the minus I? Mariam, Taha, Sufyan, Amna.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the order will be B will be the most acidic, followed by minus. ज्यादा माइनस कहाँ पे फिर? ज्यादा माइनस है फिर D में. Then we have minus in C. Minus are all over. Then we have to move to 0, that is E. Then we have to move to plus M of phenol, which is going to be F. और अल्कोहल का सबसे कम होगा, no matter what type of phenol is present, अल्कोहल का सबसे कम, that is going to be A. Copy this down, raise your hand once you are done.